Professor Giuseppina D'Agostino, lawyer, law professor, and public speaker, was recently awarded with a very special recognition. She was included in the top 25 most influential lawyers for 2022 by Canadian Lawyer magazine. Welcome, Giuseppina.
It's fantastic to be here. Thank you so much, Antonio, for having me.
Thank you for visiting us, and of course, congratulations. And my first question is, how does it feel being recognized with such an important recognition?
Fantastic. Finally, some good news. It's incredible to be validated by your community, and it's an award that really showcases talent across Canada. And I'm really an incredible company. The other 24, one of them was a former Supreme Court justice as well. So for me to be honored is just the peak of my career.
And if I'm not mistaken, your recognition is for business.
Business.
Can you tell us something more about this?
Of course. So business helping entrepreneurs, and something that as Italian Canadians we have in our blood, in our DNA, to make things happen, to create from nothing. All the immigrants that came here have started their businesses. So for me to be validated, especially in this area, is so important.
Of course. Giuseppina, Pina, your name tells us something about your Italian roots. So tell us something about your family immigration story.
So, well, I was born here in Canada, but then my parents felt the nostalgia of Italy, of their motherland. And so when I was 6 years old, they decided to sell everything. So they were immigrants, of course, to Canada in the 60s. And they decided to pack things up and go back to Italy.
So what about your first memories of Canada?
My first, well, cold.
Cold.
We came back when I was 11 years old, at the end of grade 5 almost, and I remember it was freezing outside and I hated it. I really wanted to go back to Italy, and I missed all my friends and just being there. I didn't speak a word of English when I came.
So and there was a real impact on you.
It was very difficult. I cried myself to sleep for 6 months every night. I wanted to go back to Italy.
But then things got better.
Slowly, I have to say I was pretty tough with myself because I really wanted to learn the language. And I almost shut off the Italian language. I didn't want anyone to speak to me in Italian. And I remember in the schoolyard, many of the kids of immigrant parents would know a few words of Italian, and they would try and make me feel welcome.
Of course.
But I wanted them to speak to me in English because I needed to, in a sense, feel like I belonged in this new country.
Of course.
So then after about 6 months, I picked up the language. I ended up starting also public speaking in English. And then I felt that I missed my Italian heritage, and I wanted to go back and visit. And so ever since then, I tried everything I could to go back to visit or do exchange programs. I studied in Bologna, in Rome. I completed my law degree in Bologna, in fact. And I still have a place in Italy.
Of course. And if I'm not mistaken, your family is from Abruzzo.
Abruzzo.
So tell us something about Abruzzese tradition that you guys kept here.
Love it. So I'm actually, I could say I'm 100% Abruzzese. So my mom is from vicino Sulmona, Bagnaturo. And so it's the valley nestled in the beautiful Appennini. And then my dad is from Silvi Paese. And that, of course, is on the Adriatic side. So mare e monti, the best combination.
Of course.
And many of the traditions, really the food. We love to eat, and the polenta that we make, the arrosticini. We like to have the Abruzzese wines, and just many of the traditions and the festas. That my dad actually was he was the president of the Silvi Social Club, when just to maintain the culture, and I would go to many of his events as well to honor our traditions.
Of course. Giuseppina, your personal life, your professional life, what are the things you are most proud of?
My family, really my parents above all, because they were immigrants 3 times. So it's not your typical immigration story where you come, like most of the Italians came in the 60s and they start from scratch. My parents had to start 3 times over. They came, they sold everything, they went back to Italy. My dad couldn't find work and wanted to provide a better future for us and had to start again from scratch. He actually came a year before to earn enough money even to pay for our plane tickets to get us back here. So a lot of sacrifice for them and starting from scratch. was difficult. So for me, my parents, they put us, the kids, my brother and I, Ernie, above themselves. And to me, I'm most proud of them. And also now I'm proud of my kids. So I have 4 kids. I have 1 plus 3, a set of triplets.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have a 7-year-old and 3 6-year-olds. So, and I named them all Italian names: Alessia, Annalisa, Sergio, and Giorgio. And I'm proud of them because the triplets especially, I had a tough pregnancy, and they fought through to really come into this world. So I feel very blessed. And Alessia as well, because she was a little queen before they came along, and she's had to adjust.
Of course.
And my husband is an immigrant himself, so we're all in some way come from other places and trying to make a family here in Canada and still keep our traditions alive. And I think that's what makes me proud, is to feel that I have a really strong upbringing, and my Italian culture is something that I keep very close to my heart, and I try and let it shine wherever I can.
Of course. We know that even volunteering and charitable activities are part of your involvement in the community. Tell us something
that's a lot of my time is spent doing volunteerism. In a sense, many of my lawyer projects, professor work is in volunteerism. So the IP Innovation Clinic is one of the things I started up to help people that don't have money to start up their own businesses, to protect their ideas through intellectual property law. Also, I do volunteer work for the McMichael Canadian Art Collection, and it's an incredible collection of art for Canada, and to me culture is an important part of our upbringing, and that's something that I want my kids to know about. There's a lot of great Italian artists, of course. And then also with their schools, I help with the kids' schools and try and fundraise and ensure that they have now, as we know, there are many, many challenges and cutbacks in education, and I want to make sure I do my part to support our kids.
You're already in the top 25,
yeah.
So I don't know what are the challenges you're facing now. Tell us something about the new challenges for your life.
Oh, wow. New challenges is that there's so much more to do and so many opportunities. So one of the areas I work with is artificial intelligence.
Giuseppina D'Agostino, congratulations again, and thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Antonio. Grazie. The honor is all mine.